Hello. So, I just wanted to talk candidly for a little bit about how I'm doing um, and what it's like to be a trans person in a red state that is pushing as many anti trans bills as it can. Last time I checked the news, um, the House of Representatives in my state went ahead and pushed forward the bill that would ban trans healthcare for anyone under 18, and it's also a bill that also, on top of that, will ban any insurance coverage from being allowed to be given to, you know, you can't use insurance coverage for any trans healthcare services statewide. Um, what's real cute about it is that they did leave a loophole for doctors performing intersex procedures on infants. And if you don't know about that, basically, if a baby is born intersex, in that case, without the infant's consent, obviously, because they aren't old enough to say what they want, they can have surgical intervention to. Sometimes it's bordering on like genital mutilation. So that's great. We love that y'all left a loophole for that. But I'm off work this weekend, and this is the state that I am typically in when I don't have work. I made even more coffee because it's not touching my system. We love depression. And I have spent some of this day in bed, even though being someone who had really severe depression as a teenager, I do not like being in bed after I've gotten up. I really try to never do that, but I'm trying to give myself space to do that this weekend. I have trans people from other state messaging me on like Instagram and stuff, worried about me, and all I can say is like, yeah, I'm scared, and I'm sitting around trying to decide what would be worse for my mental health. Because here's the thing that people don't understand is that if insurance coverage is banned, that slices a huge portion of patients away from clinics, and most clinics cannot handle the profit loss. For example, the clinic that I go to also offers services for like a lot of different things for the queer community, including like HIV care and stuff like that. And they want to still be able to treat those patients. So, I will not be surprised if, I won't be surprised if I do lose access to care. They're trying to pass everything they can. And I will not be surprised if suddenly something gets introduced where it's like, fuck all of you. Doesn't matter if you're like 45 and you've been on hormones for 30 years, fuck you. No more. And because I've learned that I cannot be surprised what my state does. I can't let myself be, because I'll lose my mind. And it's so weird because in so many ways my life is better than it ever has been. I'm back in eating disorder recovery really solidly. I'm working out for the first time in my life in a healthy way. I just achieved financial independence and stability, and I'm having to sit here trying to decide if forced displacement and moving would be better than being forced to go off hormones, and I really don't know. I can't decide because I have a lot of trauma around moving, and I'm a severely anxious person who also can't drive highways, and also money. Like, if you're like a cis person and you're just like, oh, these people in these states can just leave. I'm in a much better financial situation than most of the trans people I know, because I grew up a lot more privileged than a lot of the trans people I know. And I'm still like, I don't fucking know if I could even do it if I need to. And I don't know what would put me in a psychologically worse state. Even considering going off hormones, even if it was just like I didn't have access to it for a couple months while clinics rearrange and things like that and open up different services and stuff through different avenues and blah, blah, blah. You know, there's serious psychological consequences to, like, fuck with your hormones. Like, we all know that. And every day it's such a head fuck to try and remember how grateful I am for where I'm at, the fact that I enjoy food again and that I like my job. I also thinking about leaving my job, that's horrible. I love my job and I love the place that I work at specifically. I'm very invested in it. I don't want to leave. I fucking hate Oklahoma and I have spent my whole life saying, God, yeah, I want to leave one day, but actually right now, I don't want to. Like, but I might have to. And yeah, I genuinely can't really decide what would be worse for me. There's also a weird aspect of there are no like anti-drag bills being presented in Oklahoma yet, I think, but I'm in a weird position where I'm very aware that particularly if I continue to have access to hormones and if my voice ever starts to fucking change, I swear to God, I will actually probably be interpreted as a trans woman. That has actually already been something that's happened to me a lot in the past. When people would find out I was trans, if I was dressed feminine, they assumed that, of course, you know, you're probably wearing the clothes of the gender that you want to be, right? And then they would come up to me and be like, I never would have guessed you were born a boy. And I was just like, I think I was born a boy? Thank you. It was a weird experience. But there's also the fact that, you know, I dress very extravagant and things like that. And my makeup is very much so inspired by drag and also trans women, and specifically queer people in drag, not necessarily like cis gay men drag. I've always felt a very strong disconnect with that because to me it's not. To me, the makeup and stuff isn't a performance. Like, I'm not exaggerating anything about myself. It's just art. I'm not there to, like, I don't know. I just, like, it's just not my scene. But, like, absolutely my makeup is, like, 100% derived from that. And I'm aware that I don't know what they're actually going to do about just, like, regular ass people on the street who, you know, is it just like these people are no longer going to be able to perform in any sort of way? Because there's some really ambiguous wording, and there are a lot of trans people that are scared that people could get in trouble for, like, dressing how they want to at Pride or something. And, you know, what defines performance? Because everyone's performing a little bit every day. And yeah, that's kind of a weird aspect of all of this. I don't know if there's going to be any bills like that in Oklahoma. For me, I'm absolutely like, throw me in fucking jail. Fucking do it. I'm going to make it miserable for all y'all. But I'm the kind of person who, like, a long time ago, I decided it was worth it to be myself no matter what. But yeah, it's just a really weird experience to, like, be living life constantly trying to, like, be grateful for all the good things in my life, that I am on hormones. You know, I'll be 4 months before long. I think my voice is just starting to change just slightly. And it's so weird, like, simultaneously, I described it as simultaneously trying to be grateful for all the things in my life while also constantly trying to be emotionally prepared for the gavel to slam down on the softest part of my skull. And I work all week and I do my best to live my life the best way I can, and to set myself up for success. But when I'm home on my days off, especially like as a manager where I work, we get a weekend off every month, and we like take turns so that there's always management. on staff. It just, you can't get away from it. And when people message me about it, I just shut down, because what can I do other than sit around and pray to nothing? Because I think being displaced and going to live in a state where I don't know anyone would put me in a very dark place. But obviously so would losing access to hormones. So. I feel like I've been getting these surges of like happy manic energy because I'm so happy with every other aspect of my life, and then I'm like this sometimes, and it's probably weird and inconsistent from a content perspective. I'm also on the verge of quitting my website because I don't have enough people to justify the work I'm putting into it on there. I did kind of do a last ditch effort thing where I asked my subscribers to recommend me to anyone who might like it, but the taxes are horrible for that kind of work, and it's just not really justified if I drop the numbers any more than I already have, so I'm stressed about that too. But I've been through much worse. I will be okay. But I just wanted to give some perspective if you're like not in one of these states, or if you're like a cis person that like, you know, like it's just so heavy to live like this, like trying to be grateful and trying to be okay when, like, I don't get to ignore the news. I don't get to ignore the politics of this because it directly affects me. I have to check in because it directly affects my healthcare. And even someone like me who's in a really good place is sometimes really not doing well because of it. So, much love to everyone who is in states like this, especially much love to anyone who's under 18 whose care is being revoked. I want to say that I hope that something is done either in like the Supreme Court or something, because this is definitely unconstitutional, but I don't know when and if that's going to happen, but it absolutely should be, and I hope for all our sakes it does. And I'm proud of you for still being here, and I hope you stick around, because there is a life to be had, even if it takes a while to get there. I can certainly vouch for that. So, I'm getting new glasses on Monday. That's something to be excited about. They will be taped. They'll finally fit on my face. I mean, I think I will, depending on money, but yeah, they might be kind of ugly because I'm going to go cheap, but I won't look as janky. Yeah, have a good day.